you. And we're back. And again, we do wish Kevin a lot of luck. And I just said to him as he walked off, never to come on the show again. I did mention that to him. But I did say to him that we'd keep in touch with him and let us know. And maybe you'd get David to come on the show when he's in town. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you have a little pull, let's do something here for your local people. A serious subject now, although it's a topic I think that in some cases, you know, when we get around Christmas and the holidays, people tend to make a big deal about depression and how you have the blues around Christmas time. We don't want to necessarily look at it that way, but one problem that does exist is a growing trend, more and more single parent families. And how does the single parent deal with the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, with the kids? Does it get easier? Does it get harder? We're going to talk about that right now with three people who have slightly different experiences. Our first guest is Laura Royalty, and Laura has been divorced for 3 weeks. We wasted no time getting you on the show. We were just kind of waiting at the door, and seriously, thank you for being with us, because it's an interesting perspective, because of course this would have been your first holiday season as a single parent. Also with us is Jim Schludecker. Jim has been divorced for 4 years, has a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, and an 18-year-old. Correct, sir?
That's right.
Also joining us is Ernie Shear, and Ernie, as with everybody, is with a group called Parents Without Partners, and Ernie has 2 kids, a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old. In fact, Ernie's youngster, Josh, is going to be on the show just a little bit later as we talk, just for a few minutes to the kids. What we did do on the show a couple of weeks ago with the blended family, when parents do remarry and then dealing with the fact they have more kids, more grandparents, whatever. So this is a slightly different perspective. Easier or harder, gentlemen? First of all, maybe we'll give some insight for Laura, but easier or harder over the years at holiday time?
It becomes a lot easier. At first, you know, you feel this big deep depression that your family is split, you know, and your children aren't with you, and it takes a while to establish, you know, the family again. You know, you're a separate family now, and to get that together again, it takes a lot of work on both halves.
What I found is that as the holidays come nearer, it gets a little more depressing, but it's not as bad as it used to be. The biggest thing I miss, though, is Santa Claus. Seeing the kids wake up to Santa Claus, because that's something, as a single father, you very seldom get the chance to see anymore. So,
is there a tendency at any point, originally, probably more so than later on, to want to celebrate Christmas with your wife, with a divorced spouse, just to say that you were together again for Christmas? And is that a good idea? Is there any feeling you might want to try that?
I don't think that's a good idea, because, you know, you've already been through some tragedies in your life anyway, and I think in a way it makes it harder for the children. They want you to be together in a sense, because, you know, they're used to that family unit. And the children love you both very much, but, you know, should I say, to bring it together would just be probably more of a tragedy than anything else, because, you know, there may be some dissentment.
I tried it for a couple of years, and
you did.
At that time it was good, but after you look back at it, you realize that it just kept prolonging the inevitable. It's not going to work out, and it's time to go your own way. So
I would also guess that there's also then a feeling on the kids' part, unfairly, they get a sense that maybe you're going to try to make this work again.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So.
Laura, what about your experience? Now, this is your first Christmas together, and I would think that maybe there was a feeling maybe we should spend this Christmas together. Tell me.
I thought about it, but like he said, it doesn't do the kids any favors, because, you know, they just, you know, they think mom and dad are going to still be together.
Was this particularly tough for you, this Christmas being the first one?
Yes, it's hard financially, and without Larry, my ex-husband. Yeah, it's hard.
Your son's how old?
3.
3 years old. Does he understand anything at all about what's happened? Does he?
Yeah, I think so, but not, you know, a 3-year-old. They're not going to understand everything.
Does he ask where Dad is?
Yeah.
What did he do? You were telling me about that.
He says, "I want my daddy," and he starts crying. So it makes it real hard.
Yeah, boy, that must be real tough. Yeah, what did he say?
Well, I feel like you don't know if you made the right decision or not, but
that does make you question whether you did make the right decision. Is that something Parents Without Partners go through initially when they see how hard it is on the kids?
I believe so.
Yeah, they have a lot of programs based on that to get the single parents out working with their kids again. That's the whole reason for it, is to get you active with your children. They also have educational programs for the parents to kind of get them geared back to the single life with understanding they do have children. You know, I've been through things that Jim hasn't been through. He's been through things I haven't been through. We've both been through things Laura's not been through. So that's the nice thing about it. We can talk and we can work it out and we can help each other.
Yeah. What has been the toughest part about this, do you think? Being the single parent. I mean, I know it's a general question, but if I just hit you with that and say, what's the toughest part about being a single dad, what would you say?
I'd say probably the hardest thing to do is being you're two parents now in a sense in one body, and you have to watch them, while you're at work, they're at school. Maybe it's summertime, what are they doing through the day? You learn to trust them, and it's hard to be both parents. I think that's very difficult.
In my situation, it's just basically being away from the kids as much. You don't take an active part like you would if you're still married to their mother, and you have to work harder at that. You have to go to school functions. You have to pick the kids up. You have to take kids on vacations. You can't just let them do their own thing with their mother, and you do your own thing. You still have to work as being a family, even though you're a single father, you're a single mother, whatever it is. You still have to work at being a family with the children.
Yeah. You kind of have a modified custody, right? I mean, you're with
Yeah, the children are with me in the summertime, and they're with their mother in the winter during the school year, and then every other weekend they rotate and visit.
Yeah.
We see a lot of them that way. Their mother sees a lot of them. I see a lot of them. We can plan our own time too. So it works out real good. It works out great, as a matter of fact.
What has been, as you look ahead now, Laura? I mean, after only 3 weeks, it's hard to really judge what this is going to be like. What are your biggest fears about this? Is it just it's financial part of it? I'm sure. Yeah.
Financial, yeah.
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 Anything?
I just worry that I don't give him enough time. That's my main worry, really.
Because you have to work.
Yeah. And then, a lot of times at night you want to go out and do stuff. Or say if you go out on a date, then you should, you don't always take the kids, but...
No, that's true. It is tough taking a 3-year-old on most of your dates. Well, this is interesting because Jim, you have what, a 16 and an 18-year-old.
And a 14.
And a 14. So everybody in your family is dating. Is that
Just
right?
about, yeah. It's very interesting. I think that I'm pretty open with my children, and I think when you're open with them in a single-parent atmosphere, you're both dating. They know the problems that you're having, and you know the problems that they're having.
Yeah.
Because regardless of your age, you still have the same feelings. It's still dating, and I think it's good for them because they learn to see well, maybe the way he dates is maybe the right way, or maybe they can help you.
How do you feel about them passing? I mean, they must kind of pass judgment because they see every date of yours as a potential mother.
They probably do.
Yeah. Do you?
Oh, well, I think anytime you date, you're always thinking, well, is that person going to be good or not? I think it's just normal.
Yeah.
But
do the kids pass judgment?
no, usually
They really
not.
don't?
They usually don't.
Yeah.
They love to tease me. They like to say, well, Dad, did you kiss her tonight?
Yeah.
And these kind of things. And it's...
Well, tell us. Oh, no, that's none of our business. I'm sorry. It's another whole show, I guess. Well, Ernie, your kid's a little young to be dating, but I assume that... how do you feel about marriage? Just as a final note, I think probably an important aspect of this is whether you think your kids, having gone through this, might be a little gun shy about marriage. Is that a concern that you might have?
I think that the children, now, the fact they've seen their parents go through divorce, I think they're going to be very cautious on a relationship they get into to base a marriage on.
Really?
I think that they're going to, this coming generation that sees from single parent families will tend to make that marriage as strong as they possibly can.
Do we?
My situation is a little bit different. My children, they're not really concerned about my dating, okay? But they're very open on whether they like the person or not once they met them. But they keep pushing me to get married. They want me to get married, and I can't understand that because, I guess I can understand that their mother's married, remarried, and
Right.
But in my mind, I thought it was funny when they bring it up, but I still think it's funny.
Well, tell them to leave you alone, Ernie.
I have.
That's good. Well, listen, we wish you all luck in the holidays and a good new year to come, and keep us posted on how things are going. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to a couple of kids about some of the good and bad points of being in a single family. A word from H.H. Gregg.
It happens only once a year. A major attraction you can't afford to miss. H.H. Gregg's year-end clearance, The Sale. You've read the newspaper, heard the gossip. Now, experience The Sale. You'll be shocked at the unbelievable low prices on quality RCA 19-inch color TV. Year-end sale priced only $196. A $103 savings on RCA XL 100 color. Don't miss year-end clearance, The Sale. Now playing at an H.H. Gregg Superstore near you.
Wild Untamed Rodeo action returns to Market Square Arena January 9, 10, and 11. The world's toughest rodeo rides again. Preston Safeway, Coca-Cola, and Channel 13 have teamed up to rustle the biggest family discount this side of the Pecos. Hightail it to any Preston Safeway and lasso a half-price coupon for the Friday, January 9th, 8 p.m. show. Join Preston Safeway, Coca-Cola, and Channel 13 in a rip-roaring good time at the world's toughest rodeo.
Karen Dalkin, before Nutrisystem. Karen Dalkin, after Nutrisystem.
Calling Nutrisystem made all the difference. When you lost weight, they cheered for you. When you reached another 10 pounds off, they cheered for you. The thing that really makes it work is the food. Can you believe I owe this body to lasagna? It was the best call I ever made. I lost 90 pounds.
Call now and receive 3 weeks of Nutrisystem services for only $49.
That's my little brother. I'm still in college with a couple of years to go. He trained in electronics and is already working for a good company. While I'm studying the past, he's working on the future.
You can work on your future by training for a career in electronics. For this free brochure on electronics training, call ITT Technical Institute at 875-8642. Call now, 875-8642.
We are back. We have a couple of minutes here, and we thought it'd be a good idea to talk to some youngsters. I shouldn't say youngsters. Got an 18-year-old here who have experienced the one-parent family and see what their feelings are. Let me introduce to you our guests very quickly here. First, Dennis Reeves. Dennis is 18 years old and lives with his mother. And your mom has been divorced 18 years, so you never really lived with your dad. Is that correct, sir? Right. Okay. Also with us is Danielle Fox, and Danielle is 15, and she lives with her mother. And your mom and dad have been divorced 5 years. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and also way over there is old Josh Shear, and Josh, of course, is Ernie's son, who was on the show just a little bit ago, and his mom and dad have been divorced 7 years, and you actually live with your mom most of the time. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to start. Interesting, because you never actually lived with your dad. In fact, you don't know your father at all. Is that correct? Can you miss something that you never really had? You see other kids with their fathers.
Yeah, I do. Like going to baseball games or something like that, you know. I never really did that.
Yeah. And you miss having the father.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I had kind of a father figure for a while when I was from around 4 to 8 or so. Mm-hmm. And
somebody who your mother had a relationship with.
Time.
Well, now that's interesting. And that was important to you. Yeah. You felt good about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can see why they think kids need a dad or
yeah, I think so.
You do. What about you, Danielle? Both. What do you think? Your mom's been divorced about 5 years. Tell me how you felt about that. You were old enough to remember the divorce, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The divorce, I didn't really like it because I missed having my father. My sisters got to grow up with a dad, and they were old enough to understand. Or I was old enough to understand, but I missed it because when they got a divorce, we had moved here from Ohio. And I haven't seen my father since the divorce.
Mm-hmm. Did you fully understand why? I don't think we should have talked to the other folks about this, but did you fully understand why they were getting divorced? Do kids ever really understand that?
Me, myself, I didn't understand.
You did?
I didn't know if it was because of me and my sisters or if it was because problems with them or them just not getting along. I never really understood it.
How about the holidays? Now, you just had Christmas. Is that a time where you think more about it?
Well, it gets better as the years go by. It's not as hard. It was real hard at first, and then as the years went by, it got easier.
It did.
I still miss it a little, but not as much as I used to.
What do you think about marriage? Do you think would this scare you off from doing it because you were in a family where it didn't work out, or wouldn't that affect you?
No, I would get married. I just wouldn't want to get a divorce.
Okay, that's a good answer, actually, when you think about it. Josh, let's talk to you for a minute here. Now, you do live with your mom, right? Do you wish your mom and dad were back together again?
Yeah.
You do? Do you think about that a lot?
Well, I used to. I don't anymore.
You don't anymore? Yeah. How about at Christmas time? Is it tough around Christmas?
Well, sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't.
Yeah. But you understand why your mom and dad aren't together at Christmas time, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And your sister is how old?
9.
9, okay. So you were all together, you were with your mom during Christmas. You and your sister with your mom, and then you saw your dad as well, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Are there any good points? I know this seems like an odd question, but are there any good points to being in a family with only one parent? Is that a dumb question? If
No,
it's a dumb
not
question,
a dumb
tell
question.
me. No, tell
There
me.
is.
Yeah.
I don't know my fathers, and some of the things I've heard makes me glad that I don't, but I still kind of want to meet him, you know. It's just curiosity, naturally.
Yeah.
And just some things I've heard about him is kind of, I don't know, I guess maybe I'm better off
not knowing him in this case.
Yeah.
What about you?
There are their good points and bad points. I mean, when they're married, you know, if one of the parents says no, you can always get a second opinion.
That's true. Okay.
I gotta go for grandma for that.
Yeah, you gotta go to grandma for that, yeah.
But there are a couple bad points. You know, sometimes, you know, when you want to go places as a family, sometimes you miss the father or the mother. But there's a lot of good points to it.
How do you feel when you meet somebody new and they say to you, let's say to one of you, well, you know, why don't you ask your dad, or what does your dad think, or what, you know, what do you say? I mean, it's you have a.
I just say yes. Like, if I'm out and somebody's at your parents' car, I say, yeah, it's my mom's.
That's your mom's?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you say?
I cover it up with, well, it's my mother's.
Yeah. So you don't really go into the whole thing?
No.
Okay. And if somebody were to say to you, you know, let's go out Friday night, is that okay with your father? What would you say?
It's not up to my father.
Okay. Okay. So you wouldn't explain the whole thing?
Well,
No.
I would.
You would?
If they ask.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it if somebody asks.
Did you have a good Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you? Did you have a good Christmas, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Real good.
What'd you get? Oh, name one thing.
A bike.
A bike, good enough. Okay, all right. Well, thanks for being with us. We hope you have a good new year, and thanks for sharing your story on the show with us. Okay, we'll see you soon. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more surprises.